Welcome to Money on Tap, your personal finance headquarters. Money on Tap is where we bring out the professionals, experience, and some fun in what we call three-dimensional investing, utilizing insurance, brokerage, and fee-based planning. That's what we do on this show. We look at all sides of the issues, and we're bringing a fully independent planning perspective to the table. My name is Seth Krunzman, and I'm joined here once again with Ben Brayshaw.
Hey, Seth. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. And I always appreciate the ask. Thank you very much. You can reach us at 855-226-8551 or email us at info@yourmoneyontap.com. You can also find us at Facebook /3D Investing. My favorite, folks, Twitter. You can take a look at us at BFG_LLC. That stands for Brayshaw Financial Group, and that's what we're bringing to the table here today. Is Brayshaw Financial Group, independent planning. Ben Brayshaw, Seth Krunzman. A little bit of love, a little hooray.
Well, that was an interesting intro that you got there, Seth.
Yeah. Well, some days it happens.
Yeah. Welcome. So, hey, we've got a lot of stuff going on today. We got a pretty good show. We're pretty excited about. We are going to air some of the best states to retire on fixed income today, which actually we're really excited about because it's a conversation piece that so many times we are approached with on how do I make this work? Whether it's a gathering for a softball event or a family barbecue on the weekend, somebody's always asking us some random questions. So this is one. This is one right out of the bag. How do I retire on fixed income? So we're going to get on that. But before we jump into our topic, we are going to have our money in the news. And our first article today, from the Wall Street Journal, is about this enormous gold coin that was brought to the great island of Manhattan. There's a gigantic gold coin that Richard Hayes brought. It's literally, the coin it's enormous, Seth. I saw the size of it. It was like
32 inches in diameter, which is not that big when you think about it. I mean, it's enormous for a coin, but when I see that as a $45 million coin, I think something more the size of a Volkswagen, right?
Oh yeah, I mean this thing is, but it's sizable. I mean it's 3.5, or it's 2.5 feet round.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, 5 inches thick, so half a foot thick, 32 inches in diameter. It's big enough, right? But it's 2,200 pounds, 2,200 pounds.
So I think what's really interesting about this is that they just left the coin on the street overnight. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
There was somebody watching that.
Of course.
You can figure out a way to get $45 million off the street. If it's only 2,200 pounds, trust me.
Somebody's using it. It might be a small crane. But I think that's what's amazing about this is that, so this coin is valued at $45 million. Richard Hayes, who is the chief executive of the Perth Mint in Australia, the coin has, Queen Elizabeth on one side, it has the kangaroo on the other side. And I'm not trying to offend anybody if I've not stated those correctly, but the coin weighs 2,200 pounds, and as Seth said, it's just astronomical. But what I found really interesting about this article, Seth, was not so much the trust he had in the American people of Manhattan to leave the coin there or any of that stuff, but I was tremendously moved by the comparison of how much gold weighs.
Yeah.
So this was interesting. It says, so a cubic foot of iron weighs 491 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
The same volume.
So when's the last time you tried to just lift 491 pounds?
500 pounds of iron. Yeah, it's usually part of my start out on the workout every morning. So it's not too bad. But when I ramp up, Seth, I switch from my iron weights to my gold weights, and the same volume is 1,206 pounds. That's 2.5 times almost what the iron weighs.
I'm so glad you did that math for me because it was taking me a minute there.
Yeah. I mean, but think about how heavy that is. So then the article even gets even better because it races over to talk about how in that movie, what was the name of the movie? I got to find it here.
The Mini Coopers.
So it has to do with Mark Wahlberg.
Italian Job.
So they're literally talking about how it would be impossible for those Mini Coopers to move the gold that were in the vehicles. And that they would have toppled over backwards and everything else. So it's really, really funny about how
you know who points that stuff out to me on the regular is my dad. He's the worst to watch one of these movies with. He's like, yeah, they could never do that. The whole time he sits there and picks it apart. He's like, they have no idea how much gold weighs. Look at what they're doing with that.
Oh, I know. Well, and then the article is even drops into another thing. So the gold coin, this is not the first time a gold coin has been made of significant size. And so the Royal Canadian Mint lent one of their gold coins to the Berlin Museum in 2017. It weighed 221 pounds. So it was a little less than, about 10%, 10% of this size. Okay. So whatever that would be, it's an enormous coin, 221 pound coin. Well, anyways,
that's more like what I lift on my treadmill every day.
Yeah, right. Exactly, Seth.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, this coin was stolen, and the article says the heist made Ocean's 11, which is a movie reference, look way too complex. The thieves climbed a ladder, forced open a window, smashed the security case, and rolled away the 221-pound coin in a wheelbarrow. 4 men, including a museum guard, were arrested several months later, but the coin was never recovered. I mean, if you can actually throw a coin and a wheelbarrow into a robbery and not get caught, you're probably a genius. This is so simplistically stupid. No wonder it got stolen.
Doesn't sound nearly as good as my neighbor's pile of bark dust out there that keeps wanting a wheelbarrow to disappear at night. I wound up a wheelbarrow short on my load of bark dust this year. So
oh, nice, very nice
neighborhood.
Oh, gosh, so. Seth, do you want to introduce this next article we have for Money?
No,
in the News?
I just want to commend you actually on that last one. You actually got Ocean's 11 correct on that, and that was good. That was a good job.
No problem.
Yeah. So Anderson Cooper. Now this is a little sad, folks. I don't know how many of you know who Anderson Cooper is, but he is kind of one of these stars on TV, CNN. You'd recognize him. You'd probably walk by in the grocery store if you don't know who he is and be like, oh, that guy. I recognize him. Well, come to find out that Anderson Cooper will inherit less than $1.5 million from his mama, Gloria Vanderbilt's estate. Unfortunately, his mom did pass away, and it was presumed that she was around $200 million.
$200 million. Wow.
Yeah. The legend of Vanderbilt. But no, that doesn't seem to be so. And despite her wealthy roots in her sizable inheritance, which came from Cornelius Vanderbilt, her dad, and that whole Vanderbilt dynasty there. The 90s just were not so good to Gloria. And apparently she did not find a way to tailor her lifestyle down so that, sad story is that, Anderson Cooper is not going to get more than $1.5 million. And
you know what this story is a story of poor planning. Separate from the poor management, obviously the financial scenarios happen, but if you sit down and you do real planning with people and you break out estates and what you want to accomplish, this poor lady was, clearly misled, robbed, people stole from her.
Yeah, it is a sad story.
They took advantage of her. And I think, from the top down, the family should have put in various trusts, various management pieces, and I don't know the details. So maybe they did some of the stuff, and who knows, maybe somebody ripped it apart or whatever. But if they had done some sort of management, some of that theft, some of that stuff would have been protected from, and she could have probably still had a decent and strong lifestyle that she wanted.
Yeah. And I mean, Anderson Cooper is doing fine, folks. Really, don't worry about it. I mean, I know $1.5 million is probably one of those dollar amounts that most of us say, hey, that's great, because I'm probably not getting a dime from any of my family. But, there's some things that are really interesting around this story.
I'm leaving you something, Seth. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to leave you something when I go.
Okay, that watch would be nice. I like that.
My exercise watch.
Is that one of those GPS ones, like a running watch? Because I see people...
It does run. It does run.
I
watch it.
It tells time.
It tells time.
Yeah. So there's there's several layers here that are really interesting for us as advisors, because we do see quite a bit of this kind of coming through in the stories that just accumulate of people that had opportunities to really secure a legacy for their family and do more, and they just didn't. They really didn't have that proper planning in place. But there's also another piece here which is the optics that I think a lot of people have. That the majority of the wealth or the millionaires that are out there, the majority of them are coming from 200 million in their family, and they've secured a legacy, and they've done all that they need to do, and they inherit it. And really, if you go and do some of that research, the Millionaire Next Door is one of those books that I would pick up and read. And I was amazed to find out the statistics around how wealth is created around us every day by people doing that blocking and tackling in their finances of saving, spending less than they make and saving and making those dollars really work. But then being thoughtful around how do I protect that once I start to accumulate as well.
And protect it from thieves. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, it's not like sometimes creating trust, you might have a spendthrift child, but it's not necessarily, if you're listening to this today, you say, I've got a spendthrift child potentially, or, I've got a spouse that, may or may not be able to, manage this properly. And you want to put some controls in place to help them protect themselves, to still give them everything you want. That's what can be done. That's the stuff that can be done simply. I mean, it's kind of silly that it's really sad that this actually happened and nothing was really put in place properly to protect against that. That's
yeah. A lot of the time, the folks that are left really without a clue are actually in debt.
If you see Anderson Cooper trying to carry that 2,200 gold coin off of Wall Street. You might want to.
Oh my gosh. So, hey, sneakers are giving art a run for its money. First of a kind Sotheby's
This is
auction.
Incredible. I love talking about this money stuff that's out there, because it is just such a eye opener to how much money exists that's not in the control of anyone for purpose of like taking care of themselves. Like this is just wasted cash, and it just boggles my mind at the level at which this actually occurs. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Yeah, so Sotheby's is teaming up with the streetwear marketplace Stadium Goods to auction 100 pairs of the rarest sneakers ever produced, including a sample of one of the first Nike Inc. running shoes with a pre-sale high estimate of $160,000. The Nike Moon shoe is one of only 12 pairs created. It was designed by Nike co-founder and track coach Bill Bowerman for runners in the 1972 Olympic trials. The pair up for auction, handmade, Stadium Goods said. Other sneakers include 2011 and 2016 versions of Back to the Future Part 2 limited edition shoes by Nike. I've never even heard of those.
I didn't even know he was wearing. I didn't know Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future 2 was even wearing Nikes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm more of a watch guy, Ben, if you haven't noticed. So I think you're right. I wonder how many people, who's going to go out and spend $160,000? There's loads of people that are probably right there just like, yeah, this is great. I've got an option to get some of these things, and they're calling in their bids or have their bidders there standing by. But I love the idea that somebody's going to grab a pair of these and they're just going to go out for a run. You're going to go to the track.
Yeah.
And you're just going to be like,
Bust.
I wonder what it feels like.
Yeah, seriously. Well, I think the article kind of comes to a conclusion, and they believe that the highest valued sneaker is $190,000 for a pair of Converse shoes which were worn by Michael Jordan in the 1984 Olympic basketball final. That's crazy.
Yeah. Converse. I never knew Jordan was in Converse. Is that the crazy part, that he was wearing Converse, or that they were 190,000?
Well, I think it's kind of funny. Maybe he had the ability to wear something different because he was in the Olympics and not under some other contract.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Money in the news. And you're listening to Money on Tap. Don't go away. We'll be right back. We're going to be bringing to you 11 states to retire on a fixed income.
Hi, my name is Seth Crustman, partner with Brayshaw Financial Group and one of the co-hosts of Money on Tap. One of the biggest concerns and largest expenses people face today is taxes. Without thoughtful planning, taxes can destroy future retirement dollars, eliminating the possibility of a timely retirement or dreams of what you want retirement to look like. If you're like most people, you're getting closer and closer to retirement, and you may be wondering if you're taking the right steps. Will my income be enough? Will rising taxes force me to give up my dreams? How does inflation factor into all of this? These are real concerns, and you're not alone. Putting a plan around your financial future is what we do. If you have questions when it comes to your financial security, and if you're looking for a personalized solution, contact us at Brayshaw Financial Group, 855-226-8551. It's time for you to start getting answers to your questions. Headquartered in Bedford, New Hampshire, Brayshaw Financial has offices across the country. We'd love the opportunity to show you how we can help. There's absolutely no cost or obligation to meet with us. Call us at 855-226-8551. 855-226-8551.
Now back to Money on Tap with Ben and Seth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Money on Tap, your personal finance headquarters. Money on Tap is where we bring out the professionals' experience and some fun in what we call three-dimensional investing, utilizing insurance, brokerage, and fee-based planning. And you can reach us at 855-226-8551 or email us at info@yourmoneyontap.com. You can also find us at Facebook, folks, 3D Investing. Should I say it? One more? Okay, I will. Thanks. Twitter. And BFG, Brayshaw Financial Group is what that stands for, _LLC. And there's several ways that you can reach us and get a hold of us. And we are so appreciative for the audience that communicates and reaches out to us, has questions. We get a chance to just, interact with you. Sometimes we bring some of those comments and some of those ideas on the show with us. And if that's you, thank you. We appreciate it that you want to have information from us. We're working in this. We're working for you daily, figuring out ways that we can work with what is happening in the retirement landscape. Part of that is in retirement, where do you live, or where would you like to live? We're going to talk about that a little bit, but there's a different side of that as well. In the area that we're going to address specifically, which is fixed income. A lot of people in retirement are on a fixed income. And so what does that mean, and how to create that fixed income, different ways to drive that income, and why would some states or locations work better for you if that's where you're at?
Yeah, Seth, it's interesting when it comes to, fixed income and developing an income strategy, because retirement is not about accumulating assets. It's the movement of accumulation in that phase of life to that new phase called the distribution phase. And a lot of people are really focusing, even some of the more wealthy people who think, I can just take income out of this. They're still thinking fixed. They're still thinking a fixed number of income, and they're trying to evaluate a lifestyle around that. Now, there's a lot of moving parts to this because, like anything, we talk about the three-dimensional process in investing. in choosing where you're going to retire and how you're going to retire is really going to have a bearing, because some states have income tax, some states have dividend taxes, some states, have none of those things. And you need to evaluate that, because, how you're taking your income and so forth, and how it might hit and affect you versus, passive and, passive income from real estate versus, maybe you're a consultant and you're collecting income and doing a little bit of consulting on the side. You may want to evaluate various states to look at. Like, you might say, hey, I'm thinking about Florida or Arizona, and I'm not sure which one's right for me. But I really kind of like those two. And that's a conversation I've heard in our office before. Or I really like Georgia and Florida, or, Tennessee. And I think what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about the various states and how those states differ a little bit. But the real encouragement here, I think, is to really say to you, if you're thinking about retiring, or you're in your late 50s, early 60s, and you're saying, hey, where am I going to retire? What am I going to do? Prepping how your distributions happen is really important to make sure it's as tax friendly and as tax advantageous for you to keep as much of your money in your pocket and give less to the government. There's nothing wrong with saying that. It's just saying we're going to do it the right way, the very best way, the most opportunistic way. But the preparation ahead of time is necessary, and you need to be aware of that. And I think that's a really core point.
Yeah. So that accumulation and that distribution is one of these ideas that, or actualities is what it is when you are at a certain point in saving. And you can be a saver all your life. There's some of these ideas, or some of these habits that are continuous and carry on with us as our personal finance journey. But there's going to be a point in time where you don't do what you do right now. If you're working right now, it's either you leave the job, you do something else. Just today, as a matter of fact, I got a call from a really wonderful lady at our chamber here, and she just wanted to give me a heads up and thank me for being a part of the chamber and a part of her community, and let me know what she's doing. And she's going to go ahead and move away from working for the chamber. She's going to turn her house and her land into like a wedding venue and do a bed and breakfast. It's different. It's a different chapter in her life that she's writing. Her husband said, "That's fine, honey. I was planning on working until I was 80 anyways." But which definitely a lot of folks are not giving up on what they're doing today at any point in time. But the point really is here is those assets that are building, and that's the accumulation. As those assets are typically trying to be growing, you're pouring into them. That's accumulation. And when you start taking an income off of that, it changes everything.
Mm-hmm. You're right on, Seth. But it's interesting you mentioned that, because we haven't chatted about this at all. But so many people, and I just met with a couple that came into our office off of the radio show. They were heading out on a missions trip, looking to do a quick will and trust with some of our attorneys that we have relationships with. I met with them for a while. I heard a lot about their life story. Wonderful, interesting people. Was excited to have met them and what they were doing inside this mission trip they're going on. But we were chatting about the concept of like retirement. Retirement is not it's a worldly perspective of what people want. People want to like step away from work. I don't personally believe in retirement. I don't believe like the Bible talks about retirement if you're going to get specific to those core points. But I do see myself changing a chapter in my life, and that's what we were talking about, is like what we would do in our next phase, because I don't see myself sitting down every day, 5 days a week, drinking coffee in the morning, reading the newspaper, and then saying, hey, what do we want to do next? And that's not me. It's never been my personality. I highly doubt it's going to change. It could, but I don't think that's where it's going. I think you're smiling because it's not going there either. But
no, you're going to turn into Kim's personal mani-pedi.
I don't know. But I definitely see myself really taking another chapter in life, it doesn't necessarily need to be a money maker, but I have seen and talked to people about, hey, I'm not looking to make the money I was. I'm looking to make something to subsidize my income, to subsidize my travel money. There's a woman I know that does cleaning on the side. She used to make a lot more money. She's just cleaning. Well, I just can clean what I want, and I don't have to do it when I don't want. And, I use that to travel to see my kids and do vacations and Christmas and stuff like that. And I don't feel bad about the fixed income that I've created, and I can do all kind of my extras with that. And that's becoming a common theme for a lot of people. And I honestly think it's more of a common theme for that reason, but also because people are very fearful of the stock market. We are at this massive rising event. They're also talking about lowering rates. All this, there's just so many different things going on. It's like, by the time you buy a corporate bond and pay the taxes, you might as well buy the 10-year treasury. Is some of the article conversations they're having out there. There's just so many moving parts to some of this stuff that you can't really get strong income yield.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually a question I just one of our listeners sent us in. It was, what's the difference between yield and return? And so when we say things like this, it's and when Ben's referring to the 10-year treasury, basically a corporate bond typically would have a better yield, or a yield is really an income distribution. It's what that looks like. And it's a percentage, and you own $1,000 of it, and it's going to give you 2% or 3%. That's the yield that's pouring off of this. But then the return is really a different articulation of usually growth on a when you have a stock. Yeah. So those are some of the terms that we're talking about. And usually in income, people are going to look for things like yield. And where can we get yield? Where can we get income?
Right. Where can we get the most yield? Where can we get that most income? And people are really...
Get me some of that Ben yield.
Give me some of that Ben yield. Yeah, right. So, and those, and this is like a really, like if you're listening to this and you're saying to yourself, oh yeah, this is exactly what you're not alone. This is a very, very common question. And I think you can create yield by reducing expenses, essentially. And I think that's where we're going with the 11 states to retire on a fixed income. I don't even agree with that.
That's not what I'm looking to do, Ben.
Yeah. You're looking to live in the most expensive place ever. Yeah.
No,
gotcha.
No, I don't want to change a thing I'm doing. I just want you to come through with more money at the end of the day. That's what I'm paying you for, buddy. No comment. I love it.
Well, at the end of the day, Seth, straight up, Oregon's not on the top of the list here. So I'll let you know.
We're going to go there now.
Didn't even make the list. So
there's a reason for that, Ben. And it's not. I mean, we really have enough people moving to Oregon without it even making the list. So we're doing just fine. Thanks. I want to talk a little more about that income piece because it really is it's so important. And we're going to try to talk about on some of the ways that we can, craft our life a little differently is where we're getting to it. Like, what are the levers that we have the ability to change or we have the ability to pull? But some of the planning process that is so critical to getting to that yield point, which is an income number that you can start to work from. Most of the folks that are coming in to retirement currently are looking at Social Security. I mean, that's one piece of the pie, pretty significant for most people in terms of their overall income that they have. Another piece is that 401k that they've been saving in, or the IRA, those traditional qualified accounts, 403bs, another one, lots of nurses and looking into those qualified accounts. That's where the majority of the savings has happened, and for good reason. So, but transitioning that into some type of an income distribution, there's different vehicles that serve different purposes. People talk about index funds and buying index funds or buying the S&P 500 index and what's the market doing? Well, that's typically a growth or an accumulation type of a vehicle, and that can still be inside of a portfolio at some level when going into that distribution phase. But some of the more standardized practice, vehicles that are or tools that are there are going to be those dividend stocks or the bond. The bond world is that's that yield term that we talk about, and buying those bond or bond ladders that that create and generate those income, which are fairly reliable, is the thing there that people go to, and less fluctuation in a portfolio, or if there's a downturn in the market, that's typically a flight to safety is what they look like. So there's less volatility, more reliability in the income piece. But as well, there's going to be, annuities, and some of those annuities that should have been thought through will have wanted to be in place for a while before you go into a distribution phase. And that's part of just one piece that people need to be aware of how to prepare or how to be thinking through creating a future income base or a future pension, kind of that I have a guaranteed, no matter what's going to happen, something's rolling in the door every month. And those are just components to that distribution phase that people want to be thinking about.
Yeah, the thing is there's so many moving parts to income. I was just thinking about some of the tax traps inside, a lot of people talk about muni bonds and are looking for tax-free income, but even those can become a little dangerous. Sometimes muni bonds and the income that you're getting and so forth can force Social Security to be, pushed in to be taxed, even though the muni bond is tax-free. And so there's just so many different traps out there that you need to manage, and you need to work with a professional when you're really trying to create truly optimal fixed income. Because that optimal fixed income is really where you're driving both the evaluation of the state you're living in when you're retiring, the distributions, the amount of money, the type of investments you're using, and the overall market movements that are going on. Like the market's at an all-time high right now. I mean, there's some scary things going on. We're seeing banks having great yields right now because people are not investing as much. There's a lot of stuff going on right here that's concerning. And, we've got China and we've got trade wars and we've got all sorts of pieces. So this is not a simple, push the button. But what I want to do is, I think in touching on these things, which we're going to get back here in a second on, I want to touch on evaluating the states for how you can be more flexible in your retirement. I'll leave it over to you, Seth.
Thanks, Ben. You're listening to Money on Tap, and we're going to come back with the best states for you to live in a fixed income world. You're listening to Money on Tap. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Ben Brayshaw, one of the co-hosts of Money on Tap. If you have questions when it comes to your retirement and are looking for a personalized solution, contact us at Brayshaw Financial Group. In today's volatile stock market, we can help you plan to find your successful retirement solution. Am I saving enough? Am I saving into the right places? Do my investments match my appetite for risk? Do I have a tax strategy that is going to help me keep more of what I earn? How can I maximize my Social Security income? If you are like most people, you are getting closer and closer to your retirement and may be wondering if you're taking the right steps. If you're in retirement, you may be wondering, am I maximizing my income while preserving my estate and caring for my family? We talk about all things financial in what we call three-dimensional investing, putting a plan around your financial future. If you feel that now is the time to start getting the answers to some of these questions for your own situation, give us a call at Brayshaw Financial Group at 855-226-8551. Headquartered in Bedford, New Hampshire, we have offices throughout New England and across the country. We would love the opportunity to show you how we can help. There's absolutely no cost or obligation just to meet with us, and we welcome you to our office. Call us at 855-226-8551.
More Money on Tap in just a moment. A lengthy vacation requires some thoughtful and detailed planning, and few people would go on such a trip without the necessary preparation. On our Cliff Notes edition of Money on Tap, Seth Cressman shows us with his example that the same care and thoughtfulness should also be given to our retirement planning.
This is a journey. This is a project that you have an opportunity to invest in and to uncover and identify how you want to live your life. And I think how many times, we go on vacation. A great friend of mine took his whole family on a mission trip to Guatemala this last year. And that looked like a tremendous adventure. And how much planning does it take to get that to happen? I have no problem involving myself in creating a plan around something like that. And if I can get my mindset to be thinking that way, like, wow, I am planning the largest vacation of my life.
How much fun can that be? And I can't wait to sit down and talk to you about that, right?
Thanks for joining us for this Cliff Notes edition of Money on Tap, with great tips from the pros in three-dimensional investing, utilizing insurance, brokerage, and fee-based planning. Now back to Money on Tap with Ben and Seth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Money on Tap, your personal finance headquarters. Money on Tap's where we bring out the professionals, experience, and some fun in what we call three-dimensional investing. We're going to look at all sides of the issues here as we bring a fully independent planning perspective to the table. My name is Seth Cressman, joined here with Ben Brayshaw. And you can reach us, 855-226-8551, or email us at info@yourmoneyontap.com. What are we talking about, Ben?
You know, we're talking about the best states to live with a fixed income. And this is going to be fun. I mean, I love this kind of information because we get these questions all the time. So I love reading these articles that we get. And I love diving into this stuff because some of it is totally nonsense. And then some of it's actually really valuable considerations about, why you would be there or why you'd be here. But, obviously some of the states we're going to go through are pristine places to want to retire. So, they're going to fall on the list a little bit because just scenery alone. So, but, I have never been to the state of Alabama, Seth. Have you ever been to the state of Alabama?
That's my answer.
Yeah, I've never been to Alabama. I'm pretty sure I've flown all over the country, but I don't think I ever touched down ever in Alabama.
Does Georgia count?
I've been to Georgia, Seth. Okay. I have been to Georgia, but I have not been to Bama.
No.
But Alabama, it's the state is a very inexpensive place to live. The average cost of living is number 9 among all 50 states. Okay, yeah. That's 13% below the U.S. national average, while the median income is at $24,000. A retirement, a retirement income of $48,000 goes a very long way in what they call the heart of Dixie. So, when you think about the median income at $24,000, obviously that's not going to get you much of anything. But that being said, just the cost of living is just astronomically low. It's phenomenal.
Golf, dining, taxes, housing. Even medical care among the lowest in the nation.
And the thing that is really attracting people to Alabama is 60 miles of beaches and coastline.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I mean, considering that New Hampshire only has like a couple of miles of coastline.
Like a quarter mile?
No, it's more than a quarter, but you can see Mass and Maine from anywhere you stand. It's not that 60 miles is a long, long coastline, actually. So, anyways, I thought that was interesting. So, Alabama's on the list. I'm going to have to visit Alabama and confirm whether I want to live there or not. But it is something that.
All I want to know is, can you buy really cool fireworks?
Fireworks. I like fireworks too.
Yeah. Number 2 was Florida. I mean, why wouldn't we say Florida? Are we ever going to have one of these conversations where Florida doesn't make the cut?
Coldest places to choose to retire.
Yeah. All right. Least tax friendly places might be that would kick them out too. Yeah. So they rank high on the list. Of course, always a driver for retirees. The cost of living is reasonable, just 1% over the U.S. average. No state tax, and that tax piece it's a big deal, folks. When you think about like the thousands that you spend every year in taxes, that could be in your pocket. Gosh, what else? I mean, I think they have 60 miles. Is that right? 60 miles of beach, or is that right? 60 miles of beach in Florida. Am I off?
I think there's way more than 60 miles of beach in Florida, Seth. I don't know what you're talking about, but anyways, I mean,
one mountain, I think.
Yeah, one mountain, Space Mountain. Space Mountain right in the center. I think Florida's an interesting state. Not having income tax is is a very helpful scenario on retiring and evaluating your taxes. State taxes are a big, like, whoa, I got hit hard. I had one client who retired in New Hampshire, moved to California to be with their daughter, and just is
So sorry.
blown
So sorry.
away at the 12% income tax rate. Just absolutely shocked. So, I think with Florida, and, there's just so many beautiful places, but there are expensive parts of Florida, and there are much more reasonable places in Florida to live. So, I think that's an evaluation. And Florida is such a big state, so many different demographics, so many different cost of living areas. I think, depending on your fixed income and what that fixed income is, may make Florida a good opportunity for you.
Yeah. I don't think I could last very long if I were to stay at Disney World and try to make that my...
It's hot down there, man. It is hot. I mean, the problem with Florida, though, really, if you're on a fixed income, between walking from air conditioner to air conditioner, all right, in the summer, most people that enjoy Florida or truly enjoy Florida that I don't see move back to wherever they're from are people who are snowbirds. And if you're a snowbird, you have a place up north and you have a place down south, that's a different cost of living, which is much more expensive.
That is moving back. That is, to me, that's moving back because you're not sticking it out, literally, like sticking it out through that summer because that...
But what about the people when you leave in the winter up here and it's freezing cold? They're sticking it out for that either, but it doesn't mean they're, now they're all...
Well, we'll get there. You're going to have your chance. Trust me. So,
all right.
Georgia, the peanut state?
Yeah.
Really? That's good for me.
I like Georgia. I'm a Georgia fan.
Yeah.
I like Georgia.
Median income, $26,000. Cost of living at 15th among all the U.S. states.
It's just a little higher than Alabama. They're right next door, so that's 24.
Yeah, Georgia's got so much to offer. I am, outside of Atlanta, I guess. When you get down to all the other areas around there, it's just so beautiful. The mountains and the countryside, the people are always wonderful. But we're talking about money, if that's what we're going to stick with here. And I think it's interesting, the aim for Savannah bit there, the coastal city that lags no other in the entire U.S. with charm. We've spent some time there together, and
I love Savannah. It's beautiful,
amazing,
beautiful. Yeah. I like Georgia a lot. Now,
hey, next on the list here, I thought this was really interesting.
I'm surprised this made it. No,
Oregon.
Oregon did not make this list. It's not on there anywhere.
Slide it in there.
Yeah, you tried. No, it's not Oregon. The next one was Hawaii. I think that everyone knows there's a major difference between those two choices.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hawaii made it only because it's 11% below the national average in healthcare costs. But it
has 60 miles of beach.
60 miles of beach. The problem for anyone who's
I don't think it's the only reason.
Well,
the only reason it made that was because
it's 80% ahead of the national average in the cost of living. So the fact that you say
part, nobody cares about that part, really.
I guess it wouldn't be that if you were living in a tent on the beach, but
it's doable, man.
Not when you're in retirement.
Okay. You'd be surprised. I'm seeing more people do it in retirement there than I have before.
Yeah, I think the thing is that Hawaii is a retirable place, and it is something where a fixed income could really drive it. You have to be prepared that you're not going to have a lot of extras in a location like that because of the cost of living there. But you know what? The healthcare is phenomenal there.
Yeah, and so I've talked to several people that are in retirement there, and spent quite a bit of time with them, and they are working probably until they're 75 and 80, and really they've transitioned nicely. That's where they want to live, and they're doing their thing. It's not like it's really taxing them to do their 3-day, 4-day, 5-day a week gig, and they love it. they get off island every once in a while and visit family or go travel someplace. It's kind of a, it's a jumping off point if you really want to go to, New Zealand or Australia or, Japan or something like that. So many other islands there that you can go explore. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, going from peanuts to potatoes to potato here, we got the state of Idaho. Cost of living for retirees is below the national average. The annual income just over about $40,000. Healthcare costs are considered relatively low. It's beautiful. It's got Yellowstone. It's just a gorgeous state. Housing's inexpensive. The average cost of a home is $176,000 less than the national average. That's not $20,000 or $50,000. That's $176,000 less than the national average. That's amazing.
It's an incredible state. I mean, Idaho is one of those places where you can you can drive out of town like 5 miles, and it's like at the edge of the earth. There's just nothing out there, and there's so much land, and the level of living is really high. People, there's Costco. I don't know. We don't have Sam's Club, but there's Costco. There's Walmart. There's everything.
Yeah, we should probably jump to what I think is the number one choice, which is the state of New Hampshire.
North Dakota.
Coming in, North Dakota. They didn't make the list either, Seth. I'm not really sure why, but they didn't. No, New Hampshire.
They're there. You're gonna have to eat your words, Ben Brayshaw.
Did they make the list?
Yeah,
they did. Man, that was a mistake.
Well, they're right behind New Hampshire. Go ahead, enjoy your moment in that sun or the cold.
So the average cost of living is 18% above the national average. But I mean, we've got Red Sox and we've got Harvard. We got all sorts of.
You can't claim that.
Oh, we do. It's an hour away, baby. We're the 7th lowest tax burden in the U.S. New Hampshire, we offer a great 0 income tax rate. Sales tax is only on food and meals and housing. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, it's not bad, buddy.
And it is on housing. Wow, is it ever on housing?
Yeah, but we're still lower than all the other big states, so it's not bad at all. No, New Hampshire, wonderful place to live. Enjoyed it most of my life here.
And the rest, the other 8 months of the year, enjoy Florida.
The other 8. Try the other 9 or 10. So, North Dakota, Seth.
Told you.
What is up with North Dakota being on this list?
Unbelievable.
Okay.
It's up there with you.
I have not been to North Dakota.
And my answer on that one is the same.
So we're going to have to take the word for it on here. Low cost of living, just 1% over the national average. I'm surprised it's over and not under. But state income taxes are low from 1.1 to 2.9. So there's some strong opportunity. They've got a huge oil industry there, and the median cost of housing is extremely affordable. I mean, there's a lot of huge positives, and I'm sure the pictures of North Dakota are gorgeous. So I'm sure it's absolutely amazing if you're into hunting and fishing and hiking and so forth. So that's pretty cool. So all offenses to those who live in North Dakota, I apologize.
Wind power there too, I think. It just seems to blow. I mean, I've never been there, but have some clients, have some friends that are their families from there. They just say it blows all the time. Like the wind never stops.
Really?
So lots of great resources there. South Dakota.
Sister state.
Yeah. And Tennessee. So
It's horrible. Okay. All right. South Dakota does offer one major positive, which I was shocked to have read. 0% tax rate on retiree income.
Holy, what? 0% tax rate on retiree income.
Those presidents on Mount Rushmore are speaking for you right there. That's pretty good.
Oh, man. They got it right.
Yeah.
They really did get that right.
They're 4% under the national average of the average income for living. I mean, got all the great outdoor stuff that we talked about earlier. There's some major positives there. So I don't know what South Dakota seems like it would be cold as well, but someone else is going to have to retire there to let me know.
Yeah. And the healthcare is really good too. Avera Health and Sanford Health having, established a major presence in the area. And that's one of those things that we really just haven't talked a lot about, but healthcare is so critical, especially, in retirement. It just is.
So here we got a couple more here. So 3 more. So Tennessee. Now I think Tennessee is probably popping to the top of the list here. With the cost of living that's 12% below the national average, there's no income tax, which is huge. And, there is just, it is one tax-friendly thing after another here. And, I have had a lot of clients. I've had friends tell me, I had one gentleman who's a police officer say, as soon as I hit 20 years, I'm going to go join my parents down in Tennessee where they're living at like pennies on the dollar. So Tennessee is a beautiful place, warm climate. You got good old Nashville, and if you love music, it's a great place to be. It's just one of the best deals financially out there for retirees. And, that's something that's, if you're really looking at a very tight fixed income, Tennessee would be a really kind of, you can find different moderate climates in Tennessee, which is interesting. So a place to seriously consider. So
yeah, so much outdoors. The boating is phenomenal. Those people that are in Tennessee that know, like, that is one of the best things about it. Is just you can get outdoors and have so much fun on the water there. Lakes everywhere and the rivers that just connect everything. Utah. And this is not a surprise, folks. Utah is one of these states that just constantly, like Florida, just constantly is a driver for great places to live. One of the largest states in the U.S. It has so much room if you're looking for open spaces. If you want to get outside of your house, the mountain ranges, the crystal clear rivers and lakes, and there's just ad infinitum. The skiing is one of the best world-class places that you could ever go and ski. Or if you haven't learned to ski, I don't know. Some people learn to ski in retirement. Maybe not so much snowboarding, but maybe the skiing thing. But yeah, cost of living is low, 4% ahead of the U.S. average, ranks second in the U.S. in terms of overall health for the state, retirees over the age of 65. Those are big deals. And I think that is an interesting relationship. The more that you get out, the more that you do, the more likely in the clean air, clean spaces, the more likely you are to have more quality of life in the retirement years.
Yeah. Well, hey, to wrap up our last state here we've got on fixed income is the good old state of Virginia. Place that I've spent quite a bit of time, and Seth has as well.
Love it.
Virginia is just an absolutely gorgeous state. Virginia's cost of living is only 11% above the national average, but the healthcare costs are really low, about 3.4% less than the national average, and Social Security payouts are not taxed. This just allow. I mean, it's a big deal. Yeah, it's a friendly state to retirees.
Yeah,
it has that kind of middle of the road climate. It gets hot in the summer. It gets a little cool in the winter, but it's
does it get hot in the summer?
It does, but it's not Florida too. It's not Florida, but it has been a very common place of interest for a lot of retirees, and a lot of people don't leave Virginia. The statistics say a lot of people don't leave Virginia once they're there. So that speaks well of Virginia. So.
Yeah. So is that going to do it for us?
That's going to do it for us, buddy. We're going to get some fixed income, and you and I are moving to Tennessee, I think.
Okay, not Virginia, Tennessee, or Utah.
Either or, we'll try them both.
Hopefully that was some fun. That was some fun for us here.
I think if anyone takes anything away from this today, it's really meant to be an enjoyable experience to think about different places that you could retire, because we've all never been to certain areas or certain places and understanding those. But if you're trying to figure out fixed income and you're trying to figure out how to make retirement work, if you're not calling somebody professionally, give us a call. Talk to someone and get some help to make sure you really can push your money into something that's way more able to do what you need to do in retirement.
Yeah. Well said. You can reach us at 855-226-8551 or email us at info@yourmoneyontap.com. Thanks a lot, folks. We can't wait to join you next week.
The views expressed are not necessarily the opinion of this radio station and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. No strategy, product, material, or tool mentioned can assure a profit or protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information, products, materials, or tools mentioned should be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. This show may be subsidized in whole or in part by a product sponsor or issuer. Securities and advisory services offered through SagePoint Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC, and a registered investment advisor. All other services offered through Brayshaw Financial Group LLC are independent of SagePoint Financial. SagePoint Financial and Brayshaw Financial Group do not provide tax or legal advice. Main office is located at 116 South River Road, Bedford, New Hampshire, 03110, and can be reached at toll-free 855-226-8551.